All right. Hello. Welcome to the Intermediate JavaScript Lesson 6 video. Let's get started. Today we're going to finish our project and add some extra additions to our project if we want to. All right. We're going to have a discussion. To finish the game, we need to be able to catch the apples. We need to be able to edit the code and add some code so when the apple is close enough to the catcher, it restarts and appears back at the top of the screen. Where could we check this? And how can we use a function like a Boolean? These are key questions that will relate a lot to this lesson. All right, so first we need to update our if statement inside of the dropApples function. This way, when the if statement is true, we can it will already have the restart apples function inside, and so it will just call that and it will restart the apples. But we need to edit the if statement. We need to edit it so that it also restarts the apple when the catcher contacts an apple. We can use a new Boolean function for this. It can be called isAppleCaught, and it will return true if the apple is close enough. So in this case, the value of isAppleCaught will be a Boolean, so we can directly put it inside of the parentheses of the if statement. All right, now let's make the function isAppleCaught. We are going to use the hitbox of a circle using the JavaScript function dist, which has the 2 points, x1 and y1 with x2 and y2, and it returns the distance between these 2 points. You can answer this on your own. How could we use this to check if an apple is caught? All right, the solution. For our function, we're going to need a parameter, and we're just going to have the index for the arrays. We can make a new distance variable and set it equal to the value of the dist function that we just discussed. We can use the apple coordinate as 0.1 and the catcher coordinates as 0.2. And we can use catcher y plus 7 because it moves the hitbox to the center of the catcher. And this makes the game function better. After you make the new distance variable inside of our function, we need to find out if that distance is less than or greater than the diameter of the apple. We're going to use this because it fits nicely inside of the catcher. So the way it will look is if something, we're going to return something, or we're going to return something else. We need to return true or false based on this if statement. So you can try this out on your own. Here's the answer. This code is going to be inside of the dropApples function. So instead of just having isAppleY more than 400, we're also going to have an or. So it will be if the apple is past the 400th coordinate for the y coordinate, then restart the apple. Or if the apple is caught, we're also going to restart the apple. All right, and this will be our answer for our isAppleCaught function. So we're going to have a distance, and we're going to set it equal to the dist function of the apple's x coordinate, the apple's y coordinate, and the catcher's x and y coordinate. Then, if the distance is less than 2 times the apple radius, or the diameter of the apple, then we're going to return true. Otherwise, we're going to return false. All right, now we're going to look at our final game. All right, so this is what our final game is going to look like. Let's restart. So as we can see, we can move the catcher, and now we can catch the apples. Look at that. All right, nice job. So now you can play the game yourself. All right, now if you want to add more things to your game, we can do that. So we can add a scoring system. So with the score system, now we can count how many times you dropped an apple, how many times you caught an apple, and your total score. You're going to have to be creative and come up with how to do this on your own. It will involve new variables, and we can also use text to display the score. And also we can make a poison apple function, which will be an apple that will decrease your score because you do not want to catch it because it is poisonous. And it will look like this. So the blue apples are the poisonous apples. And as you can see, I caught that, so now I have a negative 50 score, which is not good. And you can also make a new hitbox system if you want to. Make sure to save your project. And great job.